Hi guys, welcome back. Yes, I'm still alive. Sorry I haven't been filming lately, but the subject of this video is also the reason why I haven't been able to film lately. I've been doing an internship with Child Protective Services here in Switzerland. I've been working in a shelter for kids aged 0 to 5 years old who were taken away from their parents. And yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about today. So first I just wanted to clarify a bit what I was doing during that time frame, so you can have a bit of context. So the specific shelter I was working in was a short-term shelter. So it was the first step when the kids were taken away. They were brought to us and we had to assess the situation and basically help decide. We weren't the one deciding, but we would help decide if the kid could go back home or if they needed to go into foster care or in another facility for longer term. So that's what I've been doing since August last year, and I asked you guys on Instagram if you had any questions for me, and I'm gonna answer it, so let's go. So first question is, what did you learn from your experience working there? So one thing that I really learned is you can often see on media, even social media, in documentaries and stuff like that, when you hear the situation at first, a lot of people will be like, well, this kid can totally be at home, the parents are okay, the kid is being taken away unfairly, but once you know the situation a bit more and you read the whole story, it starts to make sense, and it's actually quite rare, in my opinion, for CPS to step in if they shouldn't. That actually happened to me quite a bit. At the beginning of my internship, I would read the story of the kids, and sometimes I was like, well, why are they here? I don't think it's very fair. Okay, there was a crisis situation, but maybe they could be at home or maybe with some kinds of arrangements, and then I would talk to the staff and I will learn that, oh, actually CPS has been involved for something like 5 years and the police shows up there twice a week because they have domestic abuse going on and it wasn't written in the file. And well, last time the dad came to visit, he was completely drunk and he had to be taken away. Often it's like not small but kind of small details and context, specific things that once you know it all, it makes sense. And often in those kinds of documentaries, reports, press articles, they won't give you all of that, and it will seem very unfair. And in my experience, it only shows one part of the story and not the whole part. So next question that I received quite a few times was, how many of those children came from parents with mental health issues? And let me count. I'd say that from the situations I've seen in my internship, it was probably at least half of the situations has a mental health component. Usually it's not only mental health, but yeah, I'd say at least half of them had mental health issues. Quite common, but usually not the only reason why the child is being taken away. Just because you have a mental illness doesn't mean you can't be a great parent. So usually it's not the only component regarding why the kid was taken away. So someone else asked what was the most common reason for kids being taken away. So from what I've seen, the three main reasons that I saw were mental illness, drug abuse, and domestic violence, and sometimes all three of them, which is a fabulous mix. So what was it like working with the kids? So basically I was doing everyday tasks with them. So I would get them up in the morning, I would feed them, clothe them, I would bathe them, play with them, just like all the daily life activity that a parent would normally perform with the kid. We were doing it for them. We would take them to medical appointments, we would make medical appointments. I'd say 95% of the kids would still see their parents, and they would see them anywhere from something like 2 to 3 times a week. So they would still have contact, but we would have to supervise it. So just supervise the visitation, see if the parent was able to perform tasks such as bathing that could be dangerous, or how they would communicate to the kids and stuff like that. So if someone asks what case was closest to my heart, so I'd say, well, two. There was a girl that I was taking care of almost every day. That was she was 3, and she was such a sweet girl. She came from a situation of, again, domestic violence, and it was just so sweet. But you could see that even though she wasn't directly abused, she had seen domestic violence. The other case was a very, very young girl. She was something like 3 months, who was HIV positive. Her mother had infected her because the mother and the dad were HIV positive, and the mom didn't want to give her any medication because A, she thought HIV/AIDS was something like medical conspiracy, and B, she thought that God would cure her and she didn't need meds, and so she had to be taken away because if she didn't get her medication she would die. And I just found so sad that religion could have such an impact on a child and on a family, and yeah, she couldn't be harmed because her mom just believed that God would fix it, and that was very sad. Did I form a connection with any of the kids? I would say I formed a connection with each of them, because you're taking care of them in such a vulnerable state, and some of them were, the youngest I've seen was 3 weeks old, and I've seen a lot of 3 weeks old baby just arrive, so they're so vulnerable, and you see them every day. You see them in their house temporarily, but their house, and you're bathing them, you're clothing them, and it's such an intimate relationship that you're building with them, that yeah, you definitely build a relationship with each kid that you see. And there were some kids that I never took care of, and I still formed quite a good bond with them, and when they would leave I would be sad and I would miss them, and yeah, so definitely it's not possible not to form a bond with people in such situations, and they need it. They need someone to be there emotionally for them and to have an emotional connection with someone in these moments, so you need to let yourself become attached to them because they need the emotional attachment too. So what was the hardest part emotionally? Well, the hardest part emotionally had nothing to do with the kids, the situations, the parents' reactions, nothing of that, none of that. For me, the hardest part was working with the team. They were nice, they were good people, they were good professionals, but working in a team has always been hard for me, and would bring up a lot of personal insecurities, and yeah, that was emotionally the worst part. It was quite hard, and I didn't expect it to be this hard. So what was the best and worst parts? Best part by far is seeing the kids progress. Like, some kids start to crawl, some kids start to walk while we are taking care of them, some kids start to laugh, and man, just seeing those moments, it's so precious, and you're so proud of them. Even though they're not your kids and you're not even related to them, but you're still the one taking care of them basically every day. So when you see them grow up like that, and it's just, my god, it's so heartwarming. If I had the chance to work there full-time, would I? No, I would never work full-time there, because working full-time in these kinds of settings is working 45 hours a week with completely irregular schedules. So you work the weekends, you work from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m, sometimes 10 p.m, you work vacations, you can work all the time, and you're working. It's very, very, very demanding job, so I would never work full-time in a shelter like that. I think I would die. My internship was almost full-time, almost full-time, and honestly, I'm so drained. So no, I would never work full-time there, just because I don't think I could do a good job with the kids if I was there full-time, because I would just get burned out. Did I had any problems because of my hair color or piercings? No, never. I've never had any problems with my hair, my tattoos. My tattoos are covered, so that's why I don't have any problems, but my piercings, my stretched ears, nothing. That's partly why I choose social work, because at least here in Switzerland, people don't really give a damn about how you look as long as you're doing a great job. If you have something like fog tattooed on your forehead, I think they would care, obviously. Or if you had something very, very extreme, like if you had your eyeballs tattooed or something like that, or your face. But outside of that, I've never had any issues. Even in my past internship, wasn't even mentioned. So yeah, never had an issue, and I'm really happy about that. And I think that's gonna be it for today. So I couldn't answer all the questions because there were too many, so if I didn't answer yours, please leave it in the comments and I will answer here. Or if you have other questions, leave them in the comments, I will gladly answer. I'm on vacation and I will be able to film again, so if you have any requests, please leave them in the comments too, and I should be able to see you a bit more regularly now, so I'm glad. As always, if you want to chat with me, you can hit me up on Instagram, link in the description. I answer every DM I get.